We have several new sets out on shelves right now. This would be the fall slate, I guess. This wouldn't be the summer slate. Summer slate was back earlier, right? That was for the solo wave. So we got some new sets. I'm going to list them off first, and then we'll kind of go one by one, if that works for you. So we have Snoke's Throne Room, 75216, I believe. 75219 is the Imperial Hauler. Big fan of this ship in the solo movie. I can already tell you I like the look of this set now. You have the 75218 X-Wing Starfighter. We've seen many renditions of this. The 75221 Imperial Landing Craft. This is the second incarnation of the landing craft. I have the original at home. It's about a third of the size larger. There's a couple sets recently, like the Sandcrawler in the last wave. That medium scale size was drastically smaller than the previous and the UCS models. This is an exciting one to me. 75217 Imperial Convex Transport. This is the train from Solo. It's the front compartment, and then they give you one car. I would have liked to seen this a little bit more detail. We can get into that in a little bit, but I think it could have been a little bit more. I think it could have given you another cart. I think it could have been like more of a vehicle. But I think it's about functionality and playability. My favorite out of this set is going to be 75214 Anakin's Jedi Starfighter. This is a Starfighter that we would have seen him quite a bit in the Clone Wars series in that era, so really sweet with that dark gray on yellow. I think anyone who likes trying to do their own diorama of the Hoth battle, the Battle of Hoth, they'll be happy with 75203 Hoth Medical Chamber. I mentioned earlier the Sandcrawler. It actually was out with this wave, 75220 Sandcrawler. It's probably more affordable for everyone, but it is significantly smaller than the two previous incarnations. And then 75215 Cloud Rider Swoop Bikes. So that's kind of nice because you can pick up the Swoop Bike set and you can get the Hauler set, and you can probably do a nice little diorama with that between the two.
But the next one's my favorite because we get yet another Millennium Falcon.
Well, that's been out. That was out.
The Kessel Run one has?
Yeah, that was out. Remember, you talked about like 3 weeks ago how you wanted to get that.
Yeah, because I'm excited.
It's okay. You can be excited, buddy. It's okay, Pookie. You're still excited because you have Krennic Shuttle. Like, you still have that masterpiece.
I love that.
It looks so good on your shelf.
Every time he comes over, he picks it up and plays with it.
It has
I'm
such
just waiting for the day where he does it and he drops it.
Such great swoosh
that will be
factor.
the day that our friendship ends.
Stop it. It has great swoosh factor. You know what I'm saying? You swoosh. Jesse, you bought 2 of these sets, actually.
I did, actually, yeah.
So X-Wing Fighter, and you got the Starfighter, Anakin Starfighter?
Yeah, so long story short, I
That's
actually had...
always preferred. I love when you say that. It usually is a lie, but...
I had the first ever X-Wing, Lego X-Wing.
Yeah, me too.
Released. I loved it. My mom tried to do a charitable thing, gave away my brother and I's she purged the house of Legos.
Oh no!
And this
I think
included
for the full story. You can check out like episode
40.
37
Yeah.
Yeah. So this included the original X-Wing, which I had complete put together on display on my nice shelf that I had in my room. So obviously, really pissed off. Thanks, Mom. So part of me,
she's watching, so she'll hate you when you get home.
So being a big kid at heart and everything, I have my favorite ships.
Yep.
So them releasing this, and it's what is this? I think it's $79.99.
Okay.
Maybe I'd go for it. Give it like a month or two, it'll be like $10 cheaper. But I really wanted it, so I put it together. It's a really nice build. It's very stable. The wing mechanic is very nice. It's like a lever action kind of deal.
Right, it's a crank in the back, right?
Yeah. I'd say my only frustration with it is that when looking at the picture online, and it kind of feels like it's more gray bricks. They used a lot of white bricks on there, so it has a very clean looking feel to it, which is a little frustrating because Luke's X-Wing was by no means fresh off the factory floor kind of thing.
Well, actually, it might have been because we know Red 5 got blown up the movie before now.
Point being is it's still a nice build. You get to see the new helmet mold pieces for the pilots,
cool.
which are really cool. You get Biggs Dark Lighter and Biggs' droid as an astromech unit.
Yeah.
You get another R2, which there's thousands of them running around with every set. And then obviously you get Luke and his.
How's Anakin Starfighter? Because I have behind me. Here we go. I have it right here. This is from the Clone Wars. Oh, I just broke it. Can you get that piece? That's all right. Oh, man, I really did bust this thing up. Oh, my gosh. I'm doing the front wing. There we go. So this is Anakin's Starfighter from the Clone Wars, the micro series that was on Cartoon Network. And this is probably my favorite Jedi Starfighter. But that I'm trying to put the piece back on so that way you can enjoy it. What was I going to say, though? The way this compares to the other one, though, it's a bit more traditional. The one that you got is a bit more of a traditional styled Starfighter in the series, but still looks super slick, and I'll pass that over.
Kind of compare here.
Basically, it just doesn't have the front engines, right?
Yeah, so like in comparison,
Try and hold it out there so that way if people are watching, that they can have a better idea. Okay, go ahead. Well, keep it out there. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not going to hold it out there all of that. Here, we'll set it.
There you go.
Would you like me to be your Vanna White? I can.
There we go. You got the
How many
nice
people
hands.
does it take to explain a Lego set? All right, go, Jesse. You got this.
So some nice things like this set that you have here is obviously a more piece count. It's a little bulkier.
Okay.
The new set is I think roughly like $20. So it's a reason.
Pretty affordable.
A pretty affordable price, and it's actually a very pleasant build and everything. I thought very sturdy. You get a updated Anakin Skywalker, with the nicer, hair piece. This looks like he has a toupee on in this one.
Watch yourself.
But no, I mean, for a smaller build, it was definitely a lot of fun to put together. It looks great. The profile, the shape, both ships, by the way, just feels like in a comparison to everything else, really, really nice looking.
And it's very early Clone Wars era Jedi Starfighter, right?
Yes.
This is kind of like it's the same style that you would get with Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones, and this is also the style that we would get in the early goings. Basically, actually, all of the Clone Wars TV series, because you didn't have. I don't remember seeing the Revenge of the Sith Jedi Starfighter in the Clone Wars. Oh, wait. No, they were there because Yoda had his style. Okay. All right. So, but this is early Clone Wars era. That's the point. Okay, cool.
But
go ahead. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
yeah, I mean, they're really great builds to pick up. I have them sitting next to I picked up the TIE Fighter that was recently released.
Okay.
That was a fantastic build as well. But yeah, these look really nice next to my UCS Slave 1. And just proportionate wise, because you have the Slave 1, which is a
Right.
bigger ship.
Mm-hmm.
It really does look good as shelf pieces. So I was definitely content with it.
Awesome. Well, happy for you to have those sets. I think that if I were to get anything right now, I would for sure be getting the, just because they all go together, the train, the Conveyex transport, the Cloud Rider swoop bikes, and the Imperial AT Hauler. I feel like you could do a really cool diorama on a low budget level with those three sets. None of those sets are more than $65. I know when you group them together, it gets pretty pricey, but I think there are, master builders are far and few. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be able to have the time, the money, the resources to make something really in depth. But if you're a fan of that Solo movie and if you like that scene, Lego's giving you three sets that have reasonable count pieces that give you all the minifigures that you need, and you can have some real fun. Are you going to be tempted to buy 2 or 3 of these Convex transports to make the train to be up and upside down? I think that's where I get upset because it's just one side. I would have paid $20 more to get a little bit bulkier of a vehicle and have it be, give it some track and be upside down. You can buy, a secondary set that gives you more pieces. But it's Legos. And the thing is, they're targeting kids, and we're just the kids that grew up with the original sets. We have moved beyond their demographic.
Now, a nice thing actually between the two sets is that the hauler is actually able to pick up the cargo piece on the train.
Really?
Yes. So there is a nice playability function there for kids there between the two sets.
Well, and the haulers weren't the haulers also used to transport walkers on the battlefield? I thought we saw that in that one scene.
Possibly.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
But yeah, I think you're right though. I mean, for somebody who's really into doing the mock builds, you could pick up maybe a couple of these train sets. Again, if you're on that larger scale of mock building or master builders, you've got pieces for probably railways And I wouldn't be surprised to actually see a more like movie accurate mock.
I would love to see that.
Which would be really fantastic to see.
And I think the swoop bikes are cool, but they're just like they're kind of too bulky for the minifigure. And that's the thing is like remember when we were kids, like they would have like Lego cycles where the little slit would go between the legs, and it was like just this little bike, and that was perfect. I don't know why they didn't make a mold like that for the speeder bike because we don't need. I know I'm sure it's to up the piece count so they can charge more, but all you need is a little thing to put a minifigure on. You don't need this big bike.
Now, interesting that you mentioned mold is with the hauler. What's the four-armed alien guy?
Oh, Jon Favreau's character. I don't remember.
This is cool because with this particular set, you actually get that character, and he has 4 arms. So he has a new arm mold that gives that Lego piece 4 arms.
Oh, I see that. Okay, cool.
So that's kind of new. Like to see it. Maybe if you're a fan of just across the different genres of Lego, you might start seeing some really nice pieces coming up.
So we mentioned a lot of these sets already. We went through the list, and we're just trying to tell you what we like and dislike about the new wave. I like the Sandcrawler. It's a cool set. It's just when you see this compared to the previous model, you'd rather have the previous model because it's so much larger. It's like, do you get the latest ATT? No, you want the Clone Wars animated version because it was 3 times the size.
My issue with the Sandcrawler is it looks nice. It's actually the price point. You're paying roughly the same amount of money that you'd be paying for the Kessel Run Falcon. I would go with the Kessel Run Falcon over the Sandcrawler any day.
I did not realize the price point was that high on the set.
It's on par with, I think that maybe the Falcon's is a little bit more expensive.
Well, and what's frustrating too is that Lego.com doesn't show the prices on the site anymore. You have to go to the shop now if you want prices.
It's $129.99.
It's not worth it. I would not recommend that set.
So I mean, it's like again, it's a nice looking set, but I would wait for maybe a price drop before picking it up.
The Hoth medical chamber set is cool. Again, if you're into doing mocks, I think it gives you everything you want. The Bogda tank, the droids. It gives you that piping, those piping pieces, which are really cool. David, what do you think about this Imperial landing craft that we got? Because it comes with 2 stormtroopers. But then it comes with R2-D2 and Ben Kenobi. Do you remember a time where Ben Kenobi took on an Imperial transport and 2 stormtroopers?
No, I don't. So I was looking at this one pretty in depth because I really like that good old-fashioned Imperial shuttle.
Yeah, the Lambda class.
Which is why I like
the Tridorian shuttle.
Right, and I really like that. And these things have on the sides. The mic keeps spinning on me if I don't have it. We'll go this way. That way it's tighter. But the sides,
tight, it ain't right.
It's got great big white cases covering some of the stuff. I don't even know how I would describe that, but it looks ugly and I don't like it.
So I wish I had my original here, and I wish they had the original to compare. But this, I would say, is a third smaller than the original. And in the original, I could fit 10 stormtroopers inside. It's that transport from the special edition. So that first time that George Lucas went into A New Hope and was like, I'm going to make it the way it was supposed to be made. He did this scene where instead of just 3 stormtroopers patrolling Tatooine, he put 50, and then there are all these transports.
Like this one?
Yeah, well, that's the original. What you're showing me right now is the Toydarian shuttle.
I would not buy this from Amazon because it's $749.
But that is the set that you would want.
But yeah, that's the set. That's
it
kind
would
of
be
what
nice
I would
to see that one make a comeback.
There was one several years ago. There was a few years ago. I would encourage this one for the price point. I hope this isn't teasing the Obi-Wan standalone movie because I feel like there would be a continuity issue someone would get offended by if you're going to tell me that Obi-Wan took on a Imperial shuttle.
I think one of the things that Lego is trying to do is if you look at previous models of things, there are aspects of the ships that maybe didn't flow too well or look right. So you mentioned the side bricks on this new shuttle. I'm kind of wondering about the playability and everything because if you look at the side, if you actually look at this picture,
those sides are going to come up.
They look like they open up, so it might.
But what's with the gap? It's lazy designing.
Yeah, but there's also bricks in between.
Maybe the gap is there to show us that there's stuff inside.
If you actually look close, there are bricks in between those two.
Do you think there's maybe a missile launcher?
I don't know. And that's the going trend lately is them adding the
I'm
laser
looking
function.
So if you go to lego.com/Star Wars, that's where I'm at right now, and I'll put the photo on the screen. It shows the side hatch opened up. and it's like a really small compartment where you can maybe put one trooper, and there's like a 2x8 brick used as a ramp, and then it looks like those are supposed to be missiles. Those bricks you see in the front, where that gap is, those are supposed to be like missiles. I like the back view, like from afar. I like how they've done this ship aesthetically. I like the engines in the back. That looks good.
It has a nice profile.
But I think the functionality of it doesn't compare to how well they did with the original model. And that's fine. I just think if you're going to rehash a model multiple times, that next one should be better. This one may be more cost-effective for the consumer, and that might entice people to come out. The only one that we haven't really hit on now is Snoke's throne room. I think that's because, for me, I'm like the least impressed by this. It reminds me when Revenge of the Sith came out, they had a playset where it was that time where Star Wars was experimenting with the Lego was experimenting with the light up lightsabers. You push the minifig head down and the lightsabers lit up. Yeah. And so it was like the 3 prongs of the Mustafar lava station, and the one fell down, and you could rotate things on there and move characters around. You're seeing it? Yeah, so you guys are looking at it. The throne room kind of reminds me of that. You get 2 Praetorian guards, Snoke in his chair, Kylo Ren, and Rey. I don't think I needed the mobileness of his chair. Like, I don't think it needs to rotate. I think it would have been a fine display piece had it just been like the chair overlooking the battle. Now you buy this set, you can build it without that functionality, do whatever you want. But that was really the only thing. To me, it just seems kind of basic. I would have rather seen them do maybe a bit more in-depth set. Like the throne room maybe could be a little bit more detailed. And maybe I would just get 1 Praetorian guard, but then there would be a battle pack with the other Praetorian guards. Something like that, because the minifigures are always going to be what dries up these sets. And so I guess I would have liked a little bit more detail. I do wonder this. If we'll ever get like a UCS of Snoke's ship, because you've gotten the UCS Star Destroyer, the Super Star Destroyer. How large?
It's going to be like the size of our whole
Oh my gosh! It would be. It would honestly. If
bigger than the Falcon, the $800.
Yeah,
they could. You could do half the Lego pieces and have a set that takes up more space than the Falcon.
Whole room.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.